Welcome, Sci-Fi Pulse viewers, to the Superhero After Show. You know him as Parthenon. I'd like to welcome Dan to the Feedback Lounge. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. My real name, and this better not get out, is Dan Williams. I'm 28 years old, and I'm from Orlando, Florida.
So tell me, why come to the show? Why
Sure.
come to Who Wants to Be a Superhero?
Honestly, every birthday and every shooting star I've ever seen, I've wished for superpowers, and this is about the closest thing that I could possibly ever get to that.
You seem to be okay with this right now.
I am extremely not okay with this right now, but there's nothing you can really do. Once your name is called, the only thing you do is smile and take it like a man.
I think humor is a powerful way to kind of help to process things, and that seems to be something that everyone really appreciated while you were at the lair. You know,
I tried. I learned my humor a long time ago, was with my family, and I've kept that with me ever since. And so any kind of situation that's a little bit stressful, I always try to diffuse it. Nothing for the diffuser, but I try to diffuse it with a little bit of humor.
Were there situations that happened in the lair where you needed to call upon that sense of humor?
Oh, a couple different situations, actually, I needed the humor to kind of smooth it over. When Mindset and Limelight had their little kind of going at it, I was right there in the middle of it. And so I tried to simmer everybody down and try to calm everybody down. And similar thing with Whip Snap when she hurt herself. I was always trying to make jokes and that sort of thing.
Well, you just mentioned Miss Limelight,
Sure.
and I saw that you guys became very close.
It's true. Probably the most emotional elimination for me was Miss Limelight. It completely caught me off guard, and I thought we really connected in the house. She's a wonderful person, and I think she grew a lot on the show.
What was one of the ways in which you think she grew a little bit?
She grew in every way, quite honestly. If you look at her first tape, she was scared of everything.
Where do you come from?
I was unbelievably intimidated by this challenge. No joke.
And she didn't really want to do anything, and she didn't know what was going on.
Oh, that was scary.
And by the end, her physical transformation from her first costume to her next costume, I think really boosted her self-ego.
I love it. Oh my goodness.
So that was quite a plus for her.
Cool.
And by the end of it, especially at the bee challenge, which was very surprising, she was okay. And I was kind of freaking out because I hate bees and insects. And she's like, I'm like, "Are you okay? You okay?" And she's like, "Oh no, it's fine. We're okay. We're good." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "You're supposed to be freaking out. I'm supposed to be the calm one." And it was, she really impressed me on that part.
Well, were there ways that you feel like you grew while you were in the lair?
I did grow in quite a different ways because I love to be tested. I love to challenge myself mentally, physically, and all that kind of things. But physically, I grew the most in the lair. Most people don't know, but I actually hurt myself about 3.5 years ago. I didn't hurt myself, but I had an accident. And it hurt my back quite literally because somebody fell on me from 3 stories. And
Wait, we have to talk about that. So what,
Yeah.
someone fell on you from 3 stories?
yes, I was at a series of clubs, and somebody was drunk and doing a handstand on the 3rd-story balcony. And they fell directly on me. But for the longest time, I was called the human airbag, a superhero persona in which I was glad to shed. So I did save his life because he didn't hit the concrete, and it did compress my back. And yes, I have extreme back problems, and I actually handled all the physical challenges quite well. The only thing I really couldn't do was lift the tire for the tire changing event.
Oh, right.
But the rest of them I handled pretty well, and actually the diffuser always helped me out by cracking my back every night and kind of realigning me because he's actually good at that. So
I heard about that. I heard that that was one of the things that he was doing for the heroes.
he was quite nice, and it really helped me as well.
Cool. How do you think that you helped other heroes change in some way?
I think I helped heroes change by kind of broadening their horizons on things, and I always tried to help out in any way I could. I felt like I did that for Miss Limelight a lot because I was always trying to right there by her, and if she ever needed anything, I'm like, you can always ask me questions, and I don't really mind.
Better that she asks questions than to not ask the questions at all.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because if she doesn't ask the questions at all, she's going to stay stupid.
I don't really feel like connected with Mr. Mitzvah, but I think everybody will say that about Mr. Mitzvah.
So he seemed kind of aloof, but do you think that was mostly just his age?
Nope, I actually believe that Mr. Mitzvah had no idea what his superhero was.
Why don't you contribute to our conversations?
Why are you here? What made you who you are? Where'd you come from?
And that's why he didn't actually join in to any of our conversations. He didn't know his superpowers. Really, I do not think you should have been here.
This challenge could have been renamed Are You Smarter Than a 4th Grader?
The school children challenge, I actually thought I did really well. Kind of disappointing that I got knocked out for not being personable to the kids. Which I was like, what? Kids love me.
How many students like Parthenon the most? If you do, raise your hand.
And you're a professor in real life.
Yes, I'm actually the multimedia department chair of the International Academy of Design and Technology in Orlando.
Wow, that's a long title.
It is a long title, and you see my business card. It's like this big.
You have to remember that time is of the essence. You gotta be doing it pretty darn quick.
And yeah, you completed that challenge the quickest.
I did complete the challenge quickest. In each of the challenges, I was on the winning team, or if it was a solo mission, I actually won that challenge. And so that's why I'm extremely shocked that I'm here, because the first time I slightly slipped, I was gone, which surprises me.
Parthenon.
How does that feel up there? For me, it was crushing when he'd give me criticism, but amazing when he would give me praise.
While you were in the power diverter, you shrieked.
Well, sir, I'd like to think of it as a battle cry more than anything else.
Some of the other heroes, I thought, committed really more detrimental things.
My last name in real life is Stork.
I actually did not get that much criticism on the show.
There's been a little bit of a pattern like that. Mindset, the first time he was up on the block, gone. Whip Snap, the first time she was up on the block, gone.
But I was very surprised that I was one going home tonight.
What's your story? What's Dan's story on how you became involved in comics?
I actually got involved in comic books when I was 9 years old. My mom was a chaperone for my sister's band trip, and she bought me 2 comic books, and I fell in love with them. I read them cover to cover, and it kept me quiet for the whole entire bus ride home, and that was fantastic for my mom, because I'm quite chatty, as you can tell. And so she saw that I loved to read them, because really, I didn't like to read when I was a kid, because I really liked math and science. So every week, she would take me to the comic book store and be like, have at it. And so really, it grows from then, when I was 9 years old on a trip with my mom.
All right, so you were intelligent as a child as well. Did you find something in common with Mindset?
I had a little bit in common with Mindset. The thing about Mindset is he actually loved to show how smart he was. Literally just be like, well, I'm so intelligent, I think this. Where I kind of like to hang back, because most people don't expect it from me. The person I felt the closest in the house was actually probably the diffuser, which is odd, because I really didn't think I would, but we have the most in common, and I really think he's gonna pull through because.
So you think he'll win?
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
Who do you think will be here next elimination?
I don't actually know, because I never tell who I think is gonna be eliminated, because I don't like it.
No,
But if I probably had to guess, probably Hygiena.
Really?
It's disappointing.
Think so.
It's disappointing for me because I really like Hygiena.
Oh, and she had a pretty emotional reaction tonight when you were eliminated. I know you guys have gotten close.
We were close, and I'm sure the diffuser is going to feel it too, because we were very close.
Do you feel like you were able to experience what you wanted to experience here?
I do feel like I got a lot out of the show, and I'm quite happy with my performance here. Really, I got no negative critique, and so I'm good with it. I left on a good note. I really had a lot of fun. I thought the challenges were fantastic. Really happy with my time here.
Excelsior.